ahead and start in SketchUp, so I'm going to bring it up. And you'll notice that I automatically come up with a blank white template. That's because that's what I've set it to. I enjoy that. I think it works better for everything that we do. To get that, you're going to go to SketchUp, and under Preferences, I chose Construction Documentation in millimeters because that's what I want. I want that white background. I don't want any colors in it because it's going to make it really hard later to mess with it. You can choose any of the other ones. Construction Documentation in meters would just start out larger, but it doesn't really matter. Construction Documentation in feet and inches would be the alternate one that I would use if I was doing this in inches. But today we are doing it in millimeters, so I just want to make sure it's on millimeters. Close it, and then whenever you hit New, it will bring up that basic template. So today we're going to be drawing a plain cube. So the very first thing we need is a rectangle, and we're going to make it 100 millimeters, comma 100 millimeters. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, it disappeared. No, it didn't. It's actually right there. So I was just zoomed out too far for you to see it. No big deal. So I'm just going to use the scrolly wheel on my mouse, press it down, and it lets me rotate. So I'm going to pull it 100 millimeters. And now I have a perfect square. However, it doesn't look quite right because it's being drawn from a perspective. I want the parallel projection because now I can actually see that it looks like a square. And that for this is going to make my life a lot easier. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. And I'm going to take, the first thing I need is I need two circles, one on the top and one over here on the left-hand side. Well, to do circles, you always have to have a center. Well, now that I've drawn these lines in here, and notice it gives me a green endpoint on each of the corners, which allows the lines to make perfect X's, which now I can grab my circle tool and I'm going to pull it out and make it 25 millimeters. Do the same here. And now I can use my eraser and I can just click and hold and go around, click and hold and go around, and it gets rid of all of those lines that were essentially construction lines, which I no longer need. So now all I have are my object lines. So I'm going to pull. This one is going to go in 25 millimeters, and this one's going to come up 25 millimeters. So pretty good. That's what I want to do, and I can see if I spin it to see the perfect top view. So there's the perfect isometric view. There's the perfect top view. So notice you can see that's directly in the center. So now I want to do these two sides, but this time Shift scrolly wheel here so I can see both sides. I want to put a square in there. Well, I already have a square, so what I'm going to do is just offset. And I use this offset tool here, and then it says, oh, well, how far do you want to be offset? I want to be offset by 25 millimeters, so that what I get is a perfect square in the center of a perfect square. So again, 25. So now I have two squares. So I'm just going to push this one in 25 and pull this one out. Whoops, pull it out 25. There we go. And now you can see, now yes, I could go in and mess with colors or whatever, but I don't want to. You now have two sides left, which are, let's see if I can get my rotatey tool here to cooperate. Apparently not. It doesn't like me. Let's see if I can, nope. All right, well, fine, be that way. I can kind of see both. Zoom out a little, it'll be better. I want these two sides now to be finished up. So I have to put something there. So I have two squares and two circles, one going in, one going out. So we're going to do the same thing on the last two sides that we have. One's going to go in and one's going to go out, but this time I'm going to try something different. You can do the last two, you can do anything you like, but make sure that whatever it is centered. So again, I'm going to make my X's in order to center. Whoops. See, I can't even see my corner there, so I have to zoom way out to get my corner. And then zoom in and pan to get it to move around so I can see it better. So now I'm going to try a polygon. And you can mess with your polygon sizes. Anything that has an arrow next to it has options. So I'm going to go with an 8-sided. Well, actually, I don't know what it's going to give me, so there we go. So I'm just going to go on face 25 millimeters. It's actually telling me, hey, you did everything else 25 millimeters. Do you want this to be the same? And I do. It says select the point on the edge option circumscribes used option plus or option minus to change the number of segments. So if I do an option plus, notice I'm getting more sides. And I can do option minus to do fewer sides. So I'm just going to do a 5-sided one. And if I turn my mouse, notice it turns my shape. So I'm going to do the same thing here, 25, and I just kind of want to do the same thing. So now it's 25, and the reason I knew it was 25 is because I actually was looking down here as I drew. You can totally do that, but you can also direct type it in. Get rid of the interior lines, which I don't want. Get rid of the exterior lines, which, whoops, I undid one I wanted to keep, so Control Z to undo. Get rid of it. Oh yeah, that was super attractive. So let's be more careful. There we go. And there. So now one's going to go in and one's going to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my push-pull. And we'll make this one come out 25. And we'll make this one go in 25. And now we can go back to the ISO view. Whoops, there we go. So as you can see, I now have all of these different shapes on different locations on my block. So every side has something on it, and we're now going to dimension it and put it into layout.